Hey, it's High Tech Dad, and today I'm driving a 2014 Scion TC. This is considered to be an economy two-door coupe, and if I was 20 years younger, this would be one of the cars actually at the top of my list. And there are a lot of reasons why, which I'll go into in this review. But for starters, it's a fun little car. Seats four fairly comfortably. You can squeeze a small child in the middle, as my youngest daughter likes to sit in the middle in the back. And it is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder 16 valve front wheel drive coupe. As I said, it puts out about 179 horsepower, and the torque is about 172 or 174, something like that, which means that it's fairly responsive. It's a lighter car, so you can actually stomp on the pedal and make it go, but yet the size of the engine means that you're still getting some pretty good gas mileage. I'm averaging right now with city and highway about 26.8. The manufacturer says that you get 23 city and 31 highway with a combined of about 26, so I'm pretty much on par with that. There are a lot of little things in here that I'll go into, but the reason why I say it's good for maybe people in their 20s is the price point's really reasonable, and the stereo, which is actually made for Scion by Pioneer, is pretty amazing. Other than that, it's a fun little car. So let's take a look at some of the features inside, and I'll let you know how it goes. The 2014 Scion TC is a pretty sporty economy coupe. You can see it's pretty low slung. It's got long doors, which helps getting in. They are a bit heavy, so you have to be careful when you're opening them. But you can see the fiery red looks good. It almost looks like the car is moving when it's standing still. And just the base model has sort of tricked out tail lights. It's even got sort of a reflector down at the bottom. Doesn't light up, I don't believe. Definitely a lot of fun. So surprisingly, there is a lot of cargo space in here. You can see you can put in quite a bit of packages. Having a lift gate like this makes it a lot easier, and both of the seats fold down, so you can really load it up. Like I said earlier, this might be good for college kids or something like that to fully load up all their stuff and head on down the road. Unlike other cars in its class, this does include a spare as opposed to just a air pump. So that's a kind of nice standard feature. So while it doesn't have a keyless entry, the key fob does have controls to open and close the door, which is kind of nice. And as I was saying about the door, it's very long, so you have to be careful if you're in a parking spot not to open it too wide, because it really opens quite wide, and you might ding the car next to you. But luckily there is a couple of settings that makes it a little easier to get in and out of. But getting in and out is pretty easy as well because of the wide doors. If you pull back on this, you can get into the back, and the other seat actually slides forward, making it a lot easier to do. Visibility is pretty good. It's got a wide window here. You can see pretty well out the back. You do have to be careful of that big black spot over there. It does provide a little bit of blind spot, so always use your side mirrors for that. One thing that I did like is the steering wheel. It's got this flat bottom here and really big grips here. It's got a little knob on the side to grip it better, but it's very comfortable. It's got sort of the faux leather or leather wrapping. Very easy to use. It's got your standard volume, audio controls, skipping tracks, changing modes, and then the cruise control is mounted to the steering wheel, and it's right behind the steering wheel. Just a single air control, no dual air controls. This is the the automatic version, so you can do manual shifting, upshifting and downshifting, and it's got rev matching for that. There's a USB link that hooks into the stereo system, which I'll talk about in a second. You can turn on and off traction control. There is a plug where you can charge up other accessories as well. One thing missing from here, and something that I thought they might have, is a sunglass holder. There is no sunglass holder in here, but other than that, it's pretty good. Also, these lights don't turn on individually. You have to turn it on via the switch here to be able to let the passenger read, for example. And also, there's no lighting on the mirrors, but the mirrors are pretty good size, which is kind of nice. It's got a pretty standard instrument cluster. You got your speedometer, you got your fuel gauge. I'm almost on fumes here. This is what I averaged with city and highway driving, so that's pretty much in line with what the manufacturer said. And you got your tachometer. Doesn't have a range to empty. It does have the average mileage though. So that's kind of nice as well. So for me, one of the biggest things was the sound system. So you can see there are 3 speakers here, and in total in the entire cabin there are 8. And it's all being driven by this Pioneer sound system, which is made specially for Scion. It's a double DIN, so if you did want to take this thing out, you can put in your own aftermarket stereo and hook it up to all the wires behind and probably keep the speakers. But I'm not sure why you would want to do that, because this thing actually is pretty powerful. So right now I have it hooked into my iPhone, and one nice thing that I haven't seen in a lot of cars is the ability to actually, while I'm streaming Bluetooth, to browse all my playlists and my artists and things like that right on the Bluetooth device. You can obviously hook it into USB if you want to do it that way, and you can browse that way as well. The other thing is, it does not have Sirius XM or satellite radio or anything like that. So best thing is obviously the Bluetooth streaming, or it does have actually HD radio. So if you go to the source, you can see there are a bunch of different ways to scroll through: CD, USB, FM. So here's FM. And then if it were HD radio, it would show up with a little icon here. I'm not receiving it right now, but that's kind of a nice feature to have. It's almost satellite quality, if not better. So here you can see it does know that it is getting HD. It just went away. I'm not in a very good coverage zone. But one thing that's kind of fun is that there is a button here for sound settings, and you have natural, hear, and feel. I've left it on natural for the most part. It's got a good balanced sound, but if you click it to hear, you really can hear all the vocals. It sort of amps up all the treble and that sort of thing. And then feel really brings in all the speakers, and you can feel the thumping of the bass. Great for like club music and that kind of thing. Not that I listen to that, but it's kind of a nice alternative to have easy connection. It's easy to call a phone number, look up your contacts, that sort of thing. And then as an aftermarket, you can actually get a GPS installed for about $1,200, and by pushing the map, you would automatically go into that. But for the most part, you're going to be using audio. There is a voice recognition.
After the beep, say a phone command.
But it's only for
after the beep, say a phone command.
So overall, I think this is one of the big selling points of the Scion TC is the stereo. Believe it or not, it's really, really loud and sounds really good, and makes it sort of appealing to that 20-something crowd. Another nice thing is the dual moonroof, panoramic moonroof. You have shades here for the back. This part doesn't open. This shade closes as well, but this can tilt up and also can go back, so it really adds to the roominess of the car. And lastly, a quick look at the engine here. Like I said, this is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder 16 valve front wheel drive. It puts out about 179 horses. And like I said, this is also a 6 6-speed automatic transmission, and with 23 city, 31 highway, and 26 combined mileage. That's what I showed on my tests as well. So the 2014 Scion TC is actually a pretty good car, as I said, for 20-somethings, and that's for a few reasons. For starters, it's sporty. It's got good luggage space to throw stuff on for weekend trips or to get away. It can seat 4 adults fairly comfortably. It's got a rockin' sound system by Pioneer at like 300 watts and 8 speakers. It's pretty deafening, actually. But also the price point. The price point, the MSRP is about $20,000, and as tested in this particular car, it almost topped out at $21,000. And the thing is, what Scion's done is they've tried to make the pricing really simple. It's kind of this, there aren't any packages type of thing. You can get a standard transmission or automatic transmission, meaning you can get a 6-speed shifter or 6-speed automatic, I believe. I'm testing the automatic, which seems to be pretty good. But again, there aren't any packages for it. You get everything sort of aftermarket. It doesn't have GPS, for example. You have to buy that as sort of an add-on for about $1,200. But that keeps the price point fairly reasonable for as a good starter car or moving from a used car to a new car. Anyway, I enjoyed the ride. It's a bit noisy, and the suspension's pretty tight, so you feel a lot of the bumps in the road, but that's kind of what I was expecting for a economy coupe like this. It seems to handle well, the acceleration is good, and it's actually a lot of fun to drive. So anyway, you can read other reviews about cars, about technology, parenting advice, that sort of thing over on my website, and that's at www.hightechdad.com. If you have any questions, you can always ask me on Twitter, and I'm at hightechdad. And head over to my Facebook fan page, and that's facebook.com/HTD blog, and be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel.